Welcome to Cheers. I'm your host, Avery Woods. Hi guys, welcome back to the Cheers podcast. I'm your host, Avery Woods, and I'm so giddy right now because we are in the icon's home. Miss Jaclyn Hill, everyone.
Oh my God.
No, I can't even make eye contact. It's really just.
Oh my God.
First of all,
stop
your
it.
eyes are even gorgeous in person, like even more gorgeous. I know everyone tells your eyes are stunning, but like you're so beautiful.
Okay, but I feel like the first 5 minutes of this pod is just going to be us sitting here having crushes on each other.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Because I literally can't get over how gorgeous you are in person.
Stop.
Like
No.
literally hot. Like smoking hot. Like the second she walked up to my front door, I was like, she's so gorgeous online, but in person, I was like,
You're
what's
so
happening?
nice. That's how I feel
Jordan,
about
look
you,
away.
though. No, oh, stop. Okay, first of all, if you know anything about me, you know, like I was raised in the YouTube era. Okay, like I was always obsessed with makeup, beauty, skincare, all the things. And Jaclyn was the first YouTube account I ever found where I was like, oh, I'm so hooked. I will buy anything she tells me to buy. She taught me like her wedding makeup tutorial like 12 years ago, I'm pretty sure, taught me how to do a smokey eye. And then when we connected like in real life and we're texting and I was just like, what is going on? Like just the fact that you're here is crazy on Cheers, but the fact that I like have your phone number is wild.
It's actually kind of wild because she's been so just blunt and honest about being an inner fangirl from day one.
Oh, always.
Which has just been like so sweet and also makes me feel low-key old.
No, well, I'm not.
She's like, I've been watching you since I was high school. Me and Manny were texting about that last night. He's like, she's been watching us since like high school. And then she went on to become a nurse and a mother of two. And I'm like, oh my
Gosh. Well, okay, we're not that far apart in age, but I think you just started YouTube so young. And I was in a different phase of life. So you just like helped raise me, you know?
So sweet.
But that is what made me obsessed with YouTube and social media and all those things. So I really do feel like I have this job now because of you.
I discovered you through Whitney Simmons.
Yeah, one of my just favorite people in the world.
So you guys, I believe we're on a brand trip together, I want to say with Tarte.
Yes, Bora Bora.
And you guys filmed some TikToks and I saw one of her TikToks and you were in it and I was like, who is this super cute girl? And then I went and I watched your TikTok for probably an hour and a half straight that night. I was so deep. I was just like scrolling. And I was like, oh my God, I just like fell in love with your content. It's so genuine and you're just like so low key gorgeous, but like the kind of clean girl effect that I have always aspired to be, in the sense of like you've got piercings, you do the slick back so well, you do like that 10-minute makeup and like you're a mom and you're hot and you're like, here's my fake boobs and you're open about that and like you don't body shame.
Yeah, no.
I just fell in love with you.
Oh my God. I'm so glad we got this on record because I'll go back and watch this like 50 times. I'm honored.
So although I inspired you at one point, then you ended up inspiring me.
You're so nice. Thank you.
I'm serious though.
Well, you've really been on your TikTok grind and I'm really loving that for you. Thanks. Okay. Well, first of all, cheers. Thank you so much for being on and having us in your beautiful home.
Thank you.
Jaclyn is sober and she's been on this crazy sober journey, which I'm so happy for her. We'll go get into that. But she did buy me a bottle of wine, which was so kind.
did.
You're drinking Poppy.
I am.
We love Poppy.
I am. Ginger
we're gonna
lime
sit it.
poppy. I think that's what this is.
The ginger lime. Yeah, it's a good one. Okay. Well, I don't even know where to start. First of all, we could go back so far, but I kind of want to talk about this house really quick.
Okay, great. Let's talk about
Because I'm gagged over it. You guys, she just moved from Florida to California. This house is one of the prettiest homes I've ever been in.
Oh my God.
No, I'm serious. Like you've done such a great job.
Thank you.
And it's so warm and welcoming. And I feel like for homes like this that are like a little more modern, contemporary, they get kind of like stale museum.
Yeah.
And it's just really a new era for you. I can tell.
It is such a new era. I feel like I had a book that was just going on for so long. I'm like, enough, can we be done? And I finally closed the entire book. I burned it and then I started writing a new one.
Yeah.
And I'm on chapter 1 right now.
I love it.
Some people are like, you've entered a new chapter. I'm like, no, this is a whole new book. Different story, different everything. This house is completely different than what we had back home. I decorated my house in Tampa. Like at this point, 7.5, 8 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when you bought it. We just talked about that. I was like, I remember like she announced it and we like walked through like the foyer.
The foyer.
Thank you.
Of the Tampa house.
Yeah, I'm still learning the fancy words. But I remember that, and I remember your aesthetic was like very dark
and so
moody,
blingy. We called it the house of bling bling.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
It was so trendy and so cool for
Yeah,
like 2 years.
for sure.
Like so cool. Like, oh my gosh. It was all over Pinterest.
Yeah.
Jaclyn Hill's home. It was like
100%.
so bling bling. And I
Oh,
spent
yeah.
so much money decorating that house with designers and overpriced furniture and just ended up regretting it so much. I ended up hating that house and what it represented. I had so, not to get heavy, but I will. Do you get heavy on Cheers?
Yeah,
You
of
get pretty
course.
heavy.
Yeah, we
I
get
watched
heavy.
some episodes. You do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That house, it came to the point where I looked at Jordan and I was like, I'd rather live under a bridge with you than live here. Yes, the location is gorgeous. Yes, this house is beautiful. Yes, we're blessed to be here. But the memories that were held in that house were so dark that I was like, I gotta get out. Like,
Yeah.
and then on top of it, it was decorated so dark. And it was so gray and so moody and so black and just so not my style. I just felt trapped in there. Like
Yeah.
every day when I would be done with going working out at the gym, I'd be on such a like endorphin high, and then I'd come home and I would just feel like I was in a sinkhole. Like
Yeah.
I sat in that house on that couch when I found out my dad died, when I found out my ex-husband passed. I went
Yeah.
through a divorce in that home. Like it just had so much darkness, and then just the decor represented that darkness. And I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
So I knew immediately that I wanted to decorate light and bright and totally change my decor. And Jordan was on the same page. I was
Yeah.
like, how do you want to decorate our future house if it has nothing to do with me? Like, what's your style?
Yeah.
And he started pulling photos. Do you remember this, Jordan? And he started pulling photos with tons of plants. Like plants was his thing.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's so green. Like even when Scott and I were driving up the neighborhood, it's so different from anywhere else in LA because it's so green and just grown. Like you almost feel back east kind of.
Yeah.
But like California weather.
Yeah.
It's just stunning.
We are obsessed with the area and just trying to keep everything in here light. I'm like triggered. Anything black, I'm like, no, get it out. No, there's one black bowl. I'm like, burn it.
No.
Yes.
No, it's so open and light, and I'm just so happy for you. And I can tell, like you
you.
just like exude this new energy,
Thank you.
and it's so refreshing. And I'm so glad for
Thank
you.
you. I'm so happy.
I want to go back to OG Jaclyn, the Jaclyn that I know.
Great.
What were you doing at the time when you decided, I think I'm going to start uploading YouTube videos?
Oh my God. So we're going back 13
Yeah.
years.
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Okay, here we go. At the time when I started uploading YouTube videos, I only knew of 3 other people on all of YouTube doing beauty.
You were the first I ever saw.
And I followed Candy Johnson religiously.
'Kay.
I followed Pixie Woo religiously.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember. I remember these people.
And then there was Makeup by Tiffany D.
Okay. I
Okay.
don't know if I know that one.
I mean, this is literally 13 or 14 years ago. Like, they were the pioneers. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I loved makeup. I loved beauty. You know, just
Yeah.
like growing up,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was just who I was to the core.
Yeah.
Like, worked at MAC Cosmetics at the time. I had been there for 2 years. I was struggling in my personal life. That's when I was on food stamps and I had my EBT card that I was so embarrassed by, right? And I was hustling to get any side work that I could outside of MAC, you know, any prom, any wedding, any weekends, anything I could do. I'd charge $70 for a house call, go do a full face.
Oh my God.
It was a whole thing, but like I was so broke at that time. I remember one day I genuinely did not have enough gas to get home and I didn't have $1 in my account. I was negative in my account. And I feel like so many of us have this story, and I think it's because we are so, you literally are so dead broke that it's like, it can't get worse than this. Why not give this a try?
100%. You've
know, it's
hit
like people who are comfortable don't start social media.
No, 100%. And it's you are like backed into a corner. You're like, what do I have to lose? I literally have nothing else to lose. Like, might as well.
Literally. I was like, okay, so people are going to make fun of me for starting. Oh, well, like I have no other option. It was just so bad. My parents were going through a divorce. I was living in Boston at the time. No, I'm sorry. That's a lie. I was not in Boston. I was in Chicago.
Okay.
It was just a mess. I was everywhere. I was between Tampa, Chicago, Boston. I was all over the place. And I remember one day I think I was negative $8 in my Bank of America account. I had no gas. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get home. I was all day like, I'm going to have to ask a coworker for $5. And I was so scared. Like I was such a mess the whole day. And my last client gave me a $10 tip. And we weren't allowed to accept tips. And I took it and I put it in my brush belt.
You do what you gotta do.
And I went to the bathroom and balled my makeup off. Because I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to eat dinner tonight, breakfast and lunch tomorrow, and get home. Like that's how far $10 was gonna get me.
Yeah.
And so at that time, people were starting to talk about, have you heard of girls doing makeup stuff on YouTube? And I'm like, I have. Why not give it a try? My mom bought me a camera. because she was in the middle of a divorce with my dad and he was not helping her out at all financially. She was working at Nordstrom. She was not doing well financially. So the camera she bought me was less than $100. And we had to wait 3 weeks because it was shipped from China.
Yep.
It was a whole thing. I just used a light bulb, took the lampshade off of a lamp from Pier 1 and used that as my light and started recording videos.
Wow.
Yeah. I had nowhere else to go but up. I was at my rock bottom personally. And that's when I started. And to think that it's brought me to here,
It's
to
crazy.
California, to this beautiful home, to just, I like, my heart's racing thinking about it. I get so emotional because I can't believe that like I was one of like the chosen ones. It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's because you were talking about how you watched my 10-minute TikTok and I was kind of talking about my whole life journey. And it's so interesting how many of us in this industry have come from that. Where it's so true, like you said, like people that have money and already found their success don't hop on social media to try to build this empire. But the fire lit under our ass and the passion, I think that's like what drives the success. But I mean, you've built this massive empire and you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like it's really nuts.
It's been quite the journey.
So you're still uploading YouTube videos.
I am, yeah. I'm not consistent like I used to be.
Okay.
It was like rain or shine, one video a week, no matter what. Now it's like in the last month I've done 3 videos, but then I was like, whoops, I've missed out on the last 3 months. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, I think that's a lot of our stories though.
Totally.
A lot of us OGs, we love it. I say it's like going home for the holidays. Like YouTube is my favorite place to be. It's like so comforting. I just love being there. But then I'll forget about it because it's a lot of extra work to do a YouTube video.
For sure. Yeah, it's different than other social media platforms.
Totally different.
So how long into doing it were you like, okay, I can quit Mac and I can do this full time?
Okay, so I was on YouTube. Okay, I'm trying to really do my math here. It would have been about a year
Okay.
that I was on YouTube for.
Wow.
And I was working at Mac obviously at the time, and I told my mom I want to quit. I told my brother, I told everybody. Nobody was in support except for my mom.
Okay.
My friends, everyone, they were like, that's really stupid. And I was like, no, I think that I can grind. Like I made $3,000 that month.
You're
okay?
like, slay.
And I was like, okay, I'm feeling good. I made $3,000 this month. And that same month I had made a few hundred less at Nordstrom. Okay. And so I was like, well, technically this month I made more. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave with good graces. I'm going to put in, because at Nordstrom, I was working at the Mac counter at Nordstrom. You're not required at the time, this was like 12 years ago, you're not required to give a 2-week notice. That was their policy. But I wanted to stay in good graces because I was like, in case I got to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, I'm going to give you my 2 weeks. And even if you want a month, I'll stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
Because I might have to come back to work. Like I just want to see if like this YouTube thing works. So I put in my 2 weeks, I left, and the next month I made 12 grand. So I went from 3 grand that month to 12 the next. And I was like, I got this.
You're like,
I got this.
Hey friends, do you want to see my check? Because I did make it.
I was like, I got this. Like, and I mean, I can't even. So going from being totally broke to then getting a little bit to then that, I mean, talk about the tears.
What was your first like makeup collab with a brand, Becca?
No, my first makeup collab with a brand was Sigma brushes.
Okay, I remember that.
It was a smaller one. We did like a little favorite brush situation together.
But
such good times.
I was telling Jaclyn that my parents took me to Ulta and Becca Cosmetics was like the blinding highlight at the time. And you made your champagne pop. Right?
Yeah,
champagne pop, which was my fucking world. And I saved up my money from working at Starbucks and I went and bought champagne pop. And I used that shit till it was pan. It was probably expired. I didn't care.
It just means so much to me.
I just remember walking into Ulta and like seeing your face on display for the Becca.
Oh my God. Imagine what that was like for me.
Oh, it's I can't even imagine.
My heart's racing again. It's like I feel it all over again. It was
crazy.
So insane.
That line was so successful.
So successful.
That was all everyone talked about was champagne pop. Pop.
That was a really, really, really big moment for me because I was actually the first influencer of my kind ever to be put in Sephora's.
Wow.
So they asked me to go to their annual conference in Vegas and speak because it was like this phenomenon because like social media then is not what it is now. And so like even the CEO was like, I gotta know who this person is. Like,
for sure.
We're collaborating. This isn't Bobby Brown. This is some 22-year-old girl who just records herself online. And what are these sales? Like I got a call from the CEO on our launch day congratulating me because he's like, you just broke every record on Sephora history.
Whoa. So when you were going through that, were you like, holy shit, I made it?
Yes.
Yeah, I bet. 22? Yes. That's so young.
Yeah, I was either 22 or 23 years old, but I was young. I was a baby. Yeah.
Wow.
And they flew me out to New York and I had a launch party and like everybody from my industry came to that launch party. I was just like, imposter syndrome all the way. Like, how is this possibly even happening? I remember they were like, Jaclyn, like in the moment at the launch party, you're like, get on Snapchat and tell them that like we're gonna launch like a preview and we're gonna put 5,000 palettes on the site. And I was like, okay. So I got on Snapchat and immediately 25,000 people were on the Sephora site and the palettes were gone. And we were just like, I was like, who am I and what is going on?
Yeah. That's what's crazy is when people spend their hard-earned money to support you. Obviously, like having an audience that, you know, takes time out of their day to watch you and support you is incredible. But like when they spend their hard-earned money to support something you've worked hard on, that is such a huge
It's so huge and it never goes unnoticed.
Honor.
Every single person, because of where I came from and because of how broke I was, I put so much attention and detail into creating products. I mean, all the way to the very end of Jaclyn Cosmetics, anything I've ever created, because I know, like, no matter how much money I have in my bank account, I know how much an $18 lipstick means to one person.
Totally.
It's like I've been there. Like I was at the point where I could not buy one piece of makeup for a couple of years because I could not afford it. I could not afford a $15 lipstick. You know what I mean? So it's like I put so much heart and soul with that always in mind, and it just means so much to me. So to know that thousands upon thousands, and then with the Jaclyn Hill palette, millions sold, I'm like,
I remember when I bought the Morphe palette and then got it in the mail, and I was like, holy shit. But then I remember when I bought your Becca highlighter, and that again was like a lot of money for me. But you have like this relationship with someone that you watch and you want to support them no matter what. And it's such a special feeling. And now I understand how you feel being like in a totally different world now.
And I feel like I could literally interview you. I'm like, gonna start asking you. I'm like, and how is that for you?
No, it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's really nuts. I mean, every day. I mean, Scott can attest, I pinch myself every day. And I think it's also more so that I can give my kids such a different life than how I was raised. Which, I mean, we'll get into like your future family plans, but that is something that's such a cool experience that will be so full circle for you, because you're going to give your kids, if you guys have kids, the best, like most blessed life. Yeah. And that is such a opportunity to kind of close a chapter of like I feel like I can close chapter on like childhood trauma that I experienced or like my childhood, because my kids live this life that I always wanted to live.
Amen.
And it's so just the best.
It's so cool.
You know,
I look forward to that time.
Okay, so not to go back, but going back, how old were you when you got married to your ex-husband?
My ex-husband, I had just turned 19. I'd only been 19 for a month.
Wow. So you got married super young.
So young.
And through all of this, you were married. Like with the success.
Yes.
Do you ever regret getting married so young?
No, I don't regret any of it.
I feel the same.
It was the hardest time of my life for sure. No question about it. Well, actually, no, my lipsticks was the hardest period of my life. But overall time, it was the hardest time of my life. But I regret absolutely nothing, because it led me to where I am right now.
Totally.
And I'm so insanely, absurdly happy that you can't help but just be grateful for every up and down. Like it all goes into the same bucket, right? It all got us to where we are now. Yes. So no.
And
but it's wild though, because my niece, Talia, she's coming up on the age that I was when I got married to my ex-husband. And I'm like, I'm looking at my mom and I'm like, so what's wrong with you? I don't think we've unpacked that yet. Like why?
Isn't that crazy?
My mom's like, Jaclyn, you really think that I had an option?
True.
Like, what do you think would have happened if I said you are not walking down that aisle? I'm like, I would have gone to the courthouse. Yeah. Of course. But it's just like crazy.
Wow.
So now as I'm getting older, I'm starting looking at it from like an adult perspective. And I'm like, how hard would that be to have a 19-year-old daughter just say, I'm getting married whether you like it or not. I've been with this guy for 6 months and we're getting married next month. Oh, well, like imagine.
No, I can't. And it's wild because I remember when I met my husband, I was 18. I was a freshman in college and he was 24.
Oh, wow.
And he came in on duty at Starbucks and I told my parents, like, I'm like absolutely head over heels. And 4 weeks later, I left my childhood home and moved in with him.
4 weeks later.
And my parents
Holy crap.
flipped.
Oh.
Like they sat him down.
How would you react?
Oh,
that was Stevie.
That's the thing now. Is like I think about myself then and I was so like, fuck you, this is the right decision, whatever, which it really was. Like I have no regrets. But now as a mom, I'm like, I don't blame my parents for freaking out because
Yep.
it's like you're so young.
Yeah, and also it's like how set up for success are you in reality? Because like love doesn't pay the bills, right? So it doesn't
Totally.
matter how good of people you are. That young is so terrifying. Like my ex and I both had no college education. I had my GED. He didn't have a job at the time. I had just started a job that was totally unstable. So it's like as a parent, you're looking at that. You're like, what's the game plan here?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
That was one of the first things my dad sat my husband down and said, so are you planning on paying her car insurance, her phone bill? Like, what are you going to be able to financially support her?
Yeah.
And my poor husband's like, yes. And he's probably thinking, I just met this bitch 4 weeks ago. Like, what the fuck? It's so wild.
Not 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, no. And I literally left my child at home and I said, bye. And that was it.
And you've been together ever since. Wow.
Yep.
But that's so
Yeah.
cool though. It's so cool when like those relationships actually work out.
Totally.
You get to have that amazing story.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
love that.
And we didn't get married till I was 21. So we were together for 3 years, lived together for
Okay.
3 years, and then I got
Okay,
married.
yeah.
But still, yeah, I mean, it's young.
It's very young.
It's so young. Okay, so we did our collabs. You did Morphe, which that was another crazy thing.
That was Morphe changed my life.
Talk to me about that. Because I want to hear
Oh
like the
my
behind the
God.
scenes. Because you're friends with,
This is crazy. I don't think I've ever actually told this story before.
is it Linda?
Yeah.
And she owned Morphe at the
Yep.
time.
She was one of the founders, her and her brother.
She now sold it and she's your good friend in real life,
Literally my sister.
which I love that.
My sister, yes. I don't really show her a lot on social media because of the fact that she was the founder of Morphe. People think that anytime I show her, they're like, she's
like-
working on a Morphe palette.
Yeah.
She's doing something else with Morphe. And I'm like, no, that's just my bitch.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my sister. I'm
Love
like, you're
it.
my arm. She's part of me, but we're not doing anything business together
Yeah.
at all. So I don't show her because it's just like
Okay.
the narrative,
For sure.
you know? So plus it's really nice to have some friendships that just the world doesn't know about. It's not up for
Also,
critique. It's just yours. you
Yeah,
know?
and just like taking a break from posting and social media and business, like you just want to gab with your girlfriend.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me about how it started.
Yes. So, okay, I'm going to make such a long story really
That's
short.
totally fine.
Okay, great. So here we go. Morphe x Jaclyn Hill.
Yeah, no.
The beginning.
The people that don't know, like this was fucking iconic.
When you hear how it started, you're gonna die. 'Cause
Okay,
it was
all right.
iconic, but it's like so funny from the back end. Okay, so I was in California one time, and I had heard about Morphe. At the time, they had 40,000 followers on Instagram. Okay, so
Okay.
I was like, "Ooh, who's this brand popping off 40,000 followers?"
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I want to go to their store. So at the time, I was working on my future line, Jaclyn Cosmetics. Keep in mind, I worked on that line for like 6 years. Okay,
Yeah.
this was in the beginning stages. So we were coming back from Orange County one day after visiting a lab, and I wanted to stop at the Morphe store in Burbank. Teeny tiny little store. Okay,
My mom was born and raised in Burbank, by the way.
so nice too. Sorry, got off track.
No, it's fine. So you had a teeny little store in Burbank.
Okay, so we're on our way back from Orange County, and it was my last day in California. I'm sorry, second to last day in California. Doesn't matter. On our way back from Orange County, I'm like, we gotta stop at the Morphe store no matter what. Traffic was horrible, as you can imagine. And I was like, we're gonna get there literally as the store is closing. Like, we're gonna get there at 7 o'clock. Like, what do we do? We called, we're like, please, I'm gonna be there like at 7 on the dot. I'm just dying to buy a few brushes. I'll be so fast. They're like, don't worry, we'll keep the door open for you.
Nice.
Okay. Got there, went in. So Linda, the owner at the time, she never stayed late, but she had dinner with her girlfriends that night in Burbank.
Okay.
And she didn't live in Burbank. So she stayed late so she can meet her girlfriends for dinner at 7:30. So she was in the back and she's like, how weird is it? I never stayed past like 3 o'clock, but that
Yeah.
day she did.
Meant to be.
I walked in, the girls who worked there knew who I was. They went and got Linda. They're like, Jaclyn Hill's here. She's like, who is that? They bring her out. We meet. I ended up inviting her to another event that we had the next day. I was like, you should just come. She was so cool. She's instantly vibed with me, my mom, my sister. We're like, let's go. She ended up coming the next day to this event, and we just vibed. That's all it was. It was just like human interactions, good vibes. Long story short, a girl that was in my life went to Linda and was like, Jaclyn is dying to work with Morphe. That was a lie. Okay?
Why did that happen?
Because she thought that it would be so iconic for us to work together that she was
Okay.
trying to like have my back.
Okay, got it.
Jaclyn would love to work with you. Jaclyn's dying to work with you. Great. So she did the same thing to me. She came to me and she was like, Linda and Morphe is dying to work with you. Dying.
Interesting.
Neither of which were true.
Okay.
But this all happened because, by the way, this girl is incredible. I still love her to this day so
Yeah.
much. But she started working for Morphe and she was in the interview process. And she's like, I just know that I could get Jaclyn Hill. And then she came to me and she's like, Linda's dying to create a palette with you. That's how we created our very first palette ever, which was the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette, which was just random eyeshadows from Morphe that we threw together. We did that whole palette literally because this girl told us, I was doing her a favor, I thought, and she was doing me a favor. Like, we both thought we were doing this for the other person, not knowing any of this until after the palette launched.
Okay.
That palette we launched on New Year's Eve, sold 50,000, gone in 2 minutes.
Whoa.
And she was like, who are you? And I was like, I don't know, who am I? Like, that was crazy. What just happened? And she was like, we need to work together again. She flew down to Tampa. She's like, I will do anything. My brother wants me to come here and offer you, what do you want? Like, I'll do anything for you to create a palette with me.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, I don't know if it's really on brand. I also have like my Becca stuff going on right now that we're working on. I'm going to think about it. I thought about it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I really like her as a person. We created that entire palette literally over just laying in bed and drinking wine. That whole palette.
That's so iconic. Because it's just like natural.
That's all we did.
It is still one of the best palettes ever.
Thank
and
you.
the price point, that's the other thing too. You get so much bang for your buck.
It was iconic. We worked for over 2 years on that palette.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those sales were crazy.
Absolutely insane. 245,000 palettes in 40 minutes on launch day. Gone. Poof. Restocked with 240,000 palettes. Gone. 15 minutes.
That's fucking wild.
Literally each time we launched with 250,000, restocked 250,000, sold 1 million, all gone within 1 day, 24 hours. Gone. Could not keep it on the shelves. Insane. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I wish she was here because she'd be losing her mind. Like, it's just so crazy to think about it. Because at this point, it doesn't even feel like it was me. It feels like it was like someone else. Like, I've grown since then. It's almost like looking at your little self.
Yeah.
I'm like, how'd you do that?
Whoa.
Insane.
And then at the time, you were simultaneously working on your own cosmetic brand?
Yes.
Okay, which was Jaclyn Cosmetics.
Jaclyn Cosmetics,
Which I remember because when I was in nursing school, David made me quit my job my first semester. I worked at Starbucks, and then we started clinicals, and I couldn't work anymore. So he worked like 80-hour work weeks so I could be a full-time nursing student.
Wow.
And
Poor man.
he got so mad at me because I ordered 2 of your lipsticks. He said, bitch,
Were they fuzzy?
No, mine were not fuzzy. Mine were not fuzzy.
Iconic.
The only thing that was issue with mine was that I left it in the community mailbox at our apartment, and it's so hot that they were kind of melty, but I still used them. I immediately put them in the freezer, actually.
I still use them to this day.
Yeah, I put them in the freezer. They were incredible.
Oh, thank you, God.
Like the consistency, the creaminess, the perfect nude shades. I remember that whole fucking thing, and I wanted the big one so bad, but I had no money. So I couldn't buy like I couldn't buy like the big pack, but I bought 2 of them. And I put them in the freezer and I used them. And you know what's so interesting is I was shocked when all of that came out.
Yeah, that
because
was a dark
because
time.
I had them. And so I was like, I just don't get it.
2%. It was 2% that were defective.
Okay.
So to think about how loud the internet is actually insane.
Yeah.
And
well,
that
also
was
it's
a learning lesson.
You're producing so many units. It's impossible to nail down the 2%. And I also know how long you worked on the line that I think people aren't thinking in their head. Like, if you knew, of course you wouldn't fucking release it. It's like social suicide, brand suicide.
Like, literally my living nightmare. Like, to people, to other people online and people who weren't online just observing, it's like, she's a money hungry crook, but it's like, who even money hungry would do this?
No.
Who would do this? Like, because at the end of the day, I ended up giving a full refund, right? I didn't make 1 penny off of that, which was a really hard hit because millions of dollars were made on that day.
Yeah.
Millions. And then I gave every single dollar back. And
So I kind of want to ask you, so you launch it. What was the first thing that brought you aware of what was happening?
Okay.
Also, can you explain what I'm talking about? Because I feel like some people might not know.
Yes,
'cause
absolutely.
This is a long time ago.
Absolutely. 2018, I launched my cosmetic line and I worked on it for about 5 years. I spent my own money on that entire line, okay? Saved every penny I made from the beginning. Then I ended up getting investors before I launched, right? Because I realized with my Morphe sales, I'm incapable of this. Like, how am I supposed to do this on my own? But the plan was always to do it on my own. Okay, so I had good intent behind it, ended up getting investors, partners, and launched it together with them, okay? Everything went great. The product was great. We had quality control. We labbed at one of the best labs in America. I'm not going to say the name, but everyone in the industry knows what lab I labbed at. Everybody's shocked. Like, how? They lab everyone. They're incredible, okay? Launched, and they were defective, but not all of them were defective. After doing all the research and all the noise calmed down, it was 2% of my lipsticks that had white fuzzies on them. People claim there was mold in them, you know, et cetera, all of that. But
so what is the white fuzzies?
Here's the tea is, how am I supposed to know? I'm not a chemist.
Yeah.
I'm not in there. You know, I went to the lab 3 times while developing, but like, I'm not the one who's doing that. No, but none of us are.
Yeah. We know what we like in makeup. We don't know how to fucking make it.
I'm not a chemist.
No.
Like, I have no idea.
Totally.
What we were told is that it was white fuzzies from towels and gloves from cleaning the vats,
like
and
lint
such.
and stuff.
Yes,
Got
like
it.
lint.
Okay.
Here's the tea is there were several other brands in 2018 that launched lipsticks with the exact same issues, but none of them were being aired because everyone was so focused on mine. I'm not going to say the name of the brands, but 2 brands were huge brands.
Okay.
And I personally got them in PR covered in fuzzies. And I was like, oh my God, no one's going to talk about these though.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I was the chosen target that year. That's fine. But it was 2% of lipsticks. And my partners were just like, let's steamroll through this. Let's keep launching. Let's move. And I was like, no, we are doing a full refund. We are refunding the crap out of them. Can we also not only refund them, can we pay them? Because I was like so devastated.
I
Imagine.
remember. How did you find out about it? Like, what was the first call you got?
It was a tweet. And I clapped back. I was so defensive because like, I'm like, my lipsticks are perfect. Like, they passed quality control. They went through the ring of fire, like good to go, right? We did the whole process the way it's supposed to go in the industry by the book. So somebody posted a picture of a lipstick that just did not look good. Like air bubbles, it just did not look good. And I responded back kind of shitty, immature, not like a CEO should respond, not like an owner or founder should respond. I was petty and I was just like, of course someone is trying to like rain on my parade that I've worked so hard for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember where we were sitting actually when that happened. And I was just like, oh, why do people have to make everything so dark? And then the next day I started getting more tweets with more photos. And I was like,
uh-oh.
And then I got a little quiet. I was like, what's going on? And then they started to come in more and more and more.
Oh, shit. As people were like getting their orders and stuff.
Yeah. And then there was a lot of people who lied about it. A lot of people that behind the scenes I actually caught red-handed lying, which I would never name names, but there were some people out there who made videos that straight up lied. I actually got apologies for some of those lies later because those videos were getting so many views. It was like the thing to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, and people will always try to get clout by bringing other people down. We talked about that with Manny yesterday. It's
hard.
People want to gain a platform by bullying others, and that's just something I will never get on board with.
I know. You don't. That's the thing is like it's not sustainable. You're never gonna build a
and brands don't want to work with you.
No.
Yep.
You're not going to build a sustainable career where people love and trust you by hating other people.
100%.
It's not, you can, a quick buck, yes.
Yep.
But like all those people who were talking crap about me back then, like where are they now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that in a hateful way. I'm just like, you don't have an audience that like loves you and rides or dies for you. And I hope no one is trying to pick this apart because there were some people who talked about my lipsticks who genuinely, I'm like, yeah, you got defective lipsticks and you talked about it for a good reason. Like I get it. But there's other people who were just genuinely jumping on the hate bandwagon to hate. And that broke my heart because to them it's a lipstick, but to me that was my whole life. Like my life was over.
Yeah. And you worked for years on that.
And I thought I had perfected it. I was so cocky and that just, I mean, it's like so sad actually if you look at just pictures and videos of me, like in my launch video for the product, for the lipsticks, and then you look at me 6 months later, I look like a different person. I was so defeated. Like I was so inflamed. I gained so much weight. My eyes weren't as clear and bright, like everything. I was just like, I was slowly dying. Like I was just not taking care of myself in every single way you can think of.
So when something like that happens, is the lab not like liable for that?
No.
Wow.
No.
So you paid,
and I don't know what I'm allowed to say about that because
sure.
Because even though it was so horrible, I would never want to like get anybody into trouble.
Of course, yeah.
You know, but like so I don't know what I'm technically allowed to say, but no. We just kept moving on and never worked with them again. But
and you just
everyone else does.
Gave everyone a refund.
Everybody a refund. Every single person. I think it was like $3 million that we refunded.
Whoa.
Yeah, there was a lot of people not happy with me, but I was like, this is it. I'm sorry. I'm not having one more conversation about this. This is my integrity. This is who I am, and they're getting every penny back. Because in my mind, I just believed like this is the least that I can do, and it's going to show my integrity, and it's going to show that I don't put money over anything else. It's going to show that I'm not a crooked businesswoman. It's going to prove to these people that I'm a good person.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, it did not prove anything.
Whoa.
Yeah, people were still like, oh, she's lying about the refund. She didn't actually refund people. It's like, you know, a whole thing.
You're like, you want to check my accounts?
Right? So like, although I
ouch.
thought that was going to be like my saving grace, it just ended up making me even more depressed. Because I was like, okay, I gave them a full refund and it's still not enough. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know what to do. It was horrible.
Yeah, so what did you do?
I drank myself into oblivion. I ate whatever I wanted every night. What was my dinner, Jordan?
Corn dogs and root beer floats.
Corn dogs and root beer floats. That was my dinner every night. I would
It's
literally,
giving A&W root beer.
It really is. Yep. Mac and cheese
Yummy.
and
My
hot
kids
dogs.
love that.
Oh, well, I really did it. I'm not joking. I would eat like 4, 5, 6 corn dogs in one sitting, 2 or 3 root beer floats, and then I would sink back a few martinis and just go to sleep. Like, I just sunk into food and alcohol.
Wow.
And everyone around me was like, get up. Like, literally, when I say in bed, I'm talking like in bed, my assistant would bring me vodka orange juice, 8:30 a.m., wake up call. Wake up, vodka orange juice. We need to get up. We need to get out of bed. We need to talk. How are we going to recover this? And I would just laying there drinking at 8 a.m. as the sun is rising. Like, I can't recover this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm done. The world hates me. Like, I look back at it and I'm like, oh God, the way I want to do things differently so bad. I want to grab that girl so bad. But it's like, I also was going through so much in my life. It was like so crazy. I just went through a divorce and then that was public. And then people had so many speculations about that. I was also falling in love, found this incredible man, launching my dream business. And it was like all shot to shit. Like, whole time I didn't have therapy for any of this. And it's just like, it was too much. So I just ran to alcohol and food.
When was your next launch after the lipsticks?
My next launch
Was it the highlighters?
Yes. My
Because
next-
those was fucking slayed.
Thank you. I really did love those. They were quite the banger.
No, you are the queen of highlight. So I immediately bought those, obviously. But I remember when those came out and I said packaging on fleek.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, so good.
Yeah, we launched the lipsticks in the summer and we launched those highlights for holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was traumatized. I
feel like that was like such a big redemption for you though, because people loved them.
Thank you.
Loved
People did.
them.
People did love them. I had to
Not a
film that
fuzzy
video
in sight,
3
bitch.
times. Not a fuzzy in sight. Not a fuzzy in sight. Oh my gosh. You know what's crazy though is here's a little inside story. At my launch party for those highlights, I had my launch party in LA.
Okay.
Another influencer called me and was like, I just opened up my PR package and there's a fuzzy in the highlight. This person shall not be named just because I need to be careful.
Like trying to fuck with you?
No, they were serious. There was actually a fuzzy. So they sent me a video of it. And there's like a little fuzzy coming out of like the corner of the pan. And I was like in the middle of my launch party. Lost my mind. And here I was about to gift like 80 PR packages to all these influential people here in LA.
Oh my God.
At the launch party, I'm getting a video of a fuzzy and one of my highlights to someone that had received it early that was my friend, that still, we're good. But still, I just want to be careful in case they don't want to be talked about. But yeah, at my party. So I had to rally up my troops.
Oh my fucking God.
We had like 85 PR packages there. And at the launch party, I was like extending dinner, extending the conversation. Just drinking, shots behind the bar. Trying to prolong passing out these PR packages while I had like 8 of my girlfriends and employees in the house that I was renting at the time, rummaging through every single highlight, every single PR kit. Imagine.
So is it just one fluke?
Traumatized. I'm covered in goosebumps. They did not find one. Not one fuzzy. It was just that one person.
Whoa.
I know.
Oh
I
my
was
God. You're
traumatized.
probably like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Literally. So when those highlights launched, imagine the anxiety.
Oh, I can't.
I was
I
shit
can't.
faced when those highlighters launched. And I think they launched at like 8 a.m. Pacific time. And I was already shit faced because I was so scared. I was like, there's going to be fuzzies and everything. I know.
Whoa.
You know what's so funny though is from my point of view, I've received product with fuzzies, with air bubbles. I don't give a damn.
No, I don't either.
I literally open it and I'm like,
yeah, 100%. I'm like,
don't care.
I'll put that shit on my tongue. I don't give a fuck.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But it was just different. The standard was high, and I think I also taking accountability in that I set that standard for myself. I was such a perfectionist in everything I did, and I prided myself on everything about me, and this and this and this, and it's like, and my dogs, and we're just so perfect, and look at me and my happy marriage. Everything is just, sunshine and rainbows. Like, as I made like the Jaclyn Hill name almost look too perfect, so people then expected that from me.
Yeah.
So it's like when I did have normal fuck ups that people have in the industry and in life, it was like national news,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like but again.
Well, you also were like the fucking it girl. Like people don't understand. I was trying to talk to Scott about this on the drive over because obviously he's a lot younger than me and he's not watching like the beauty community. So I was like, you have to understand when she launched this lipstick, it was she was fucking peak YouTube. I mean, the Morphe palettes come out and obviously people trust your opinion, know you're doing it right. So it's like, if people are going to jump on a fucking bandwagon, it's going to be yours.
It was awful.
And I can't imagine how isolating and lonely that was.
It was so horrible because like to switch for a second over to you, this is what I love and admire so much about where social media has gone and what you do, because I feel like TikTok is so real. And you guys are just like, no filter. This is my life. Look at me at 7 a.m. with my kids and messy hair. And look at me at this angle that's totally unflattering. And you guys are just honest about like, I'm a mom and I screw up just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? When I started, it was a total facade. It was smoke and mirrors. And that's how we all were. It was like we had to paint a picture perfect life, picture perfect makeup. I mean, girl, I'm not kidding when I say my YouTube videos back in the day. When I say I did my makeup for 4 to 6 hours on camera, that's how long I would be rolling for.
Oh my God. And the lights.
So that my makeup was perfect.
Oh,
there
and it
were no
was.
filters. There were no smoothers.
No.
It's just.
Well, also your face looks like it's face tuned right now in person,
okay,
by
but
the
so
way.
does yours.
No.
And the fact that you don't even wear foundation.
Fuck you.
I
No,
hate you.
I swear to God, you guys, her face is flawless. That's what we
my
should
God,
do. You need to like
thank
give me a
you.
smoky eye or something.
I should give you a full B, actually.
Yeah. I'm like, put foundation on me. She needs it.
She walks in and she's like, I don't even own foundation. And I'm like,
Oh.
must be nice.
Okay.
She's like, I just have sunscreen on. I'm like, okay.
Here's my thing though.
Perfect.
I feel like I'm just in the routine of like, I don't have the time to get ready for that long because my kids are like pulling at my legs and shit.
Yeah.
But before I had kids, I would sit down and beat my face all day.
Well, of course, but like imagine being as pretty as you and just only having to do 5 minutes of makeup. When I do a 5-minute look, I wash it off. I'm like, this is so stupid.
But
I
I
either
don't-
need to be like ass ugly or red carpet
No,
ready.
I
It's
don't
one
think
or the
you
other.
understand like your level of beauty though.
Oh my God,
You
Avery,
have
that's so sweet because I very much struggle with that.
You have one of those like very unique, like ethereal faces. Like you're like a very rare gem. I'm
That
serious.
actually touches my heart so much. You have no idea. I
I'm
really
serious.
struggle with that.
Do you know what type of beauty you remind me of actually?
Who?
And I will say this the day I die, is one of the prettiest humans I've ever met, is Whitney Simmons. You and Whitney.
Stop it.
You both of your eyes. No, and Scott can attest it's true. You guys have those eyes that just like draw you in and that like really positive energy and just like really like radiating beauty. That's you and Whit. For sure.
I'm going to keep Avery, Jordan. She's moving in with us.
I'm like, Jordan, do you realize how lucky you are? No, I'm serious, for real. Okay.
Thank you so much. You have
You're
no
welcome.
idea how sweet that is and how much that means to me. Seriously.
No, it's true because
Thank you.
you don't, I mean, you know, because you meet a lot of people in this industry and like, you just don't know how people actually are.
You never
So thank you for not being a disappointment.
Oh my God, that's like the best compliment. So many people are such assholes.
No,
like the
they're
people
so
you don't
mean.
Expect. They're
Oh,
like
yeah.
so genuine and sweet online. And you're like,
Yeah.
and they're just such assholes. And you're like,
It's the worst. It's so disappointing.
How do I get out of here?
And don't you ever want to be like, honey, we have the same job. Like
Yes.
sometimes I meet people, I'm like, babe, we do the same thing.
Yes.
Why can't you look at give me eye contact? Like anything.
I am right there with you.
Or like refuse to give you a hug. And I'm
100%.
like,
yes.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Anyways.
I've got stories.
Okay, so recently Jaclyn Cosmetics was sold.
No, shut down.
Oh, okay.
Fully shut down.
Oh, okay.
Didn't make any money off of that. No sale.
Oh, okay. So talk me
Goodbye.
through that decision because it was all businesses, correct?
Yep.
Okay. When did you come to the decision of that?
When I stopped drinking, it was a very, very, very fast decision. But I stopped drinking. I had business partners, my investors, and I was just totally transparent with them. I'm like, I don't think I want to move forward with this. I don't think I want to do this anymore. I shut all 3 of my business down at the same time. So I also had my jewelry line and my comfort line.
Yes.
Where I did like socks and blankets and pajamas
Yes.
and all of that. And then jewelry as well, which those 2 businesses I did myself from scratch. I had my own warehouse in Tampa.
I remember
had
the photo shoot, like your first like jewelry photo shoot. Oh my God.
Dude,
oh.
I was miserable that day.
And I was like, fuck, I can't afford any of this, but it's so gorgeous.
God, Avery.
But I was like on food stamps though. I was like really broke. Yeah.
That's wild how fast your come up has happened
Yeah.
because that photo shoot feels like it was last year for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You've come up so fast.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
Well,
Like iconic. Such a slay. Okay, sorry. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I had those 2 businesses in Tampa, which I ran myself. That was like literally family business. Okay. Like me, my brother, my stepdad, family, right? And then I had 32 employees, I believe, in Tampa in my warehouse.
that's huge.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it led to such depression. I am not made to be a business owner. Goodbye. Goodbye. Don't get me started because it's not fun. You don't get to actually have fun. Like the fun part of like creating is 5% of it, you know?
Totally.
And it's like, and the cost, our overhead was just to profit, you know, $100. The amount that we had to sell every month was so astronomical. It was just not worth it.
I'm learning about that right now.
Horrifying.
Like
Just keep collaborating.
Like,
I want to tell everyone, collaborate. Don't start your own business.
Oh, lawyer fees. Oh, you want that
It's
URL?
actually insane.
$7,000 because someone else had bought it, and so you have to buy it off them. Like, what the fuck?
Yes, it's actually insane. And that's the thing is I definitely feel like when I look back on my career, I feel like a lot of us were playing house because we didn't actually know what it looked like, right? So here I am, you know, didn't even have my high school diploma, graduated with a GED, started YouTube, started making a ton of money, put that money aside, got investors. We jumped into business together, launched Jaclyn Cosmetics, and now I'm like, wait a second, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do business. But yet you've got all these people around you who see the amount of money that's coming in and the potential. They're like, okay, so now you're going to start this business. Now you're going to do that. And you're just like constantly like, okay. And you're like being pushed because you feel like it's the next right step. But like, whose book are we following?
Yeah.
Like, whose rules are we following? Why do I have to be a businesswoman? Why do I have to do this? And I think a lot of us felt that way. I've talked to other people, you know, in my industry who started around the same time as me who also have businesses. And they're like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Why didn't I just keep collaborating?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I just keep enjoying myself? We were making such great money, but we weren't receiving the respect from our audience of it being a business.
For sure.
Because a lot of people don't believe that being a content creator is a business, you know? So it's like, in order to earn the respect aspect, we have to start a business. But then once you're starting a business, you're taking away from being a content creator, and you make more money as a content creator as you do as a business owner the first few years.
Yep.
And now you're drowning with, you know, all these people pushing you to throw yourself more in a business, and then content takes a back seat.
Yep.
It is so messy.
And then critiquing every business decision you're making.
And I feel like I did not have a rule book. And I was one of the first people to follow this pattern. And I look back and I'm like, oh girl, why? I should have never opened up a business ever. That's like, I hate to say that. I've never actually said that. But I do, that's like the one regret. I'm thankful for the lessons that I learned, but I'm just not a businesswoman, and I'm glad I've learned that now at the age of 33. I'm still so young, and it's like, now I know.
So young. So you shut all 3 down?
All 3 down, goodbye.
Wow.
I decided to shut down my 2 businesses that I owned in Tampa.
The jewelry
my comfort
and
line
the
and
comfort,
jewelry.
okay.
And then right after that, I was like, you know what? Shut it all down. I had not ruined, that's a terrible word. I had damaged my relationship with Ulta because when I went through my lipsticks, I was just not a good partner to them. I just fell into such a depression. I was unable to show up for them the way I should have and show up for myself and my brand and my employees. And I should have done more. And I knew that. I knew I had hurt my relationship with Ulta. I'm so grateful for them because when I called them, I had a Zoom call and I let them know I'm choosing to close the brand down. They were so incredible to me. They're like, we support you so much, and we know that whatever you put your heart into will do phenomenal, and we're here for any future endeavors. We're here for, you know, if you want to relaunch something with another brand or yourself in the future, like,
that's really
you have our
nice.
number because we believe in you. But like,
That's
they
amazing.
knew I had just been going through it, you know? So with that being said, I was like, I've damaged the relationship with Ulta. I was in so many stores, almost all of them, and they were slowly pulling me out of stores because I wasn't being a good partner to them. I was miserable.
Like not showing up for
I
your
wasn't
line.
doing enough content for Jaclyn Cosmetics. I was just miserable.
Yeah.
I wasn't giving FaceTime to Ulta. I was just so depressed. It does not matter how much money is coming in when you're dealing with mental health issues. It's like, it doesn't matter. You can't pull me out of bed.
Yeah.
I just still felt like such a failure that like nothing was going to change that. So I finally had a moment with my brother. You know, Jordan tried telling me several times in the kindest ways of you possibly could that he thought I should shut my businesses down. And I just kind of didn't want to hear it. And then I had a really good heart to heart with my brother where he really like touched me in a serious way and said, you know, if I were you, I would just walk away from this. Like, why are you putting yourself through this? You want to be a mom. you have found your man, your life partner. Like, why are you putting yourself through this? I can see how unhappy you are.
Totally.
Just walk away from it.
Totally.
And I was like, oh my God, I can.
Yeah.
And I finally had this moment where it's like, because it's like I felt just the pressure to take care of people. And we all know that. Like, I don't even know your life, and I already know that you know that.
Oh, yeah.
Just because once you start making the money that comes with the content creation and you start getting these partnerships and these brand deals and these collabs, now you're taking care of your friends and your neighbors and your family and people that you just love, and you're creating jobs. I'm like, I fucking love you. You've got a great vibe. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put you in this position.
I'm going to hire my best friend to be my full-time producer.
But literally that's how it works. And I'd be like, here's a 6-figure salary. I'm going to put you in a position that you have absolutely no like past in. It's not anywhere on your resume, but I'm going to give this to you because I love you so much and because I believe in you. And although this is a position that typically requires an entire college degree, I'm just going to pull you out of retail. I'm going to give this to you. Here's $120,000 a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so much fun because you just love people and you want to take care of them. And then it ends up the majority of the time just not going well.
Yeah.
But it's like, here I was so miserable and I was putting everybody else's happiness before mine because I just wanted to do that. And I look back and I'm like, I had a good heart.
And that's the only thing sometimes that like gives you a little bit of happiness, even though you're so
how many
depressed.
people you're helping.
Is that you're helping people.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just got to the point where I finally was like, I need to be okay with everybody else going and getting a different job. I need to just let this go because I don't want to run these businesses. I don't want these businesses. Not only do I not want to run them, I don't want them. I'm done. And when I made that decision, it was like, like quite literally and physically, the weight fell off me. It was like a weight off my chest. And that's when I literally started losing weight like crazy right at that moment. Like I stopped drinking, shut down my businesses, and lost 40 pounds all in a couple of months.
Wow.
It was just a life change. And I swear I am on cloud 9 and I never want it to go away.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
How long has it been since you shut them down? Literally 7 months?
7 months, yeah.
That's crazy.
7 months of pure bliss.
Okay, so to leave the business talk, I want to talk about some personal stuff.
Give it to me.
What year did you get divorced?
What year was that?
We're like, Jordan, do you just want to sit right? 2018.
No. 2018?
Probably officially, but it takes forever.
Yes, that's the thing about that time frame is, of course, as anyone who does social media knows, there was a lot going on behind the scenes before it actually like came out.
Well, just also like court thing. People don't realize you can be separated from someone for like 2 years before divorce is finalized, and people don't understand timing of that.
I think it was official in the beginning of 2018, if my memory serves me right.
Do you know what's so crazy?
Tell me.
I remember watching that video
Of me
and
just going through it.
No, I literally was shocked. But do you know what I praise you for so much? Is that no one had any idea that you guys were getting divorced.
It's because that perfectionism, I had to paint the picture of perfect.
Yes, and it's really hard sometimes to hide that. Like a lot, there's a lot of like couples, especially TikTok and stuff, and people are like, oh, saw that coming. Yeah. It was not like that for you.
No.
And it shocked so many people, but I praise you so much because you always kept such a strong head on your shoulders on camera. And there was a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and you were always so respectful.
Yeah.
You never talked about anything in order to make someone else look
absolutely not
negative. And
Thank you.
I learned a lot from you in that sense.
It means a lot, seriously.
Like, I can't even imagine having to make that and like announce it. And that's what's hard about this job is like divorce alone is so fucking hard and difficult. But for millions of people then to not just have to know about it, but then chime in.
Yes.
I
learned and taught myself so many lessons going through that time period. For instance, if me and Jordan were to ever get divorced, I would never make a video about it. That is no one's business. That is my marriage. That is my life. That's my man. That's me. That has nothing to do with you. Why would I ever make a video announcing that? Like literally, if I were to go through a divorce again, it would just be like Jaclyn's ring is gone. And then I would probably casually at some point be like, yeah, we're no longer together.
Yeah.
Why? Why did us YouTubers have to give so much?
Because it was expected.
It's actually very crazy.
Yeah, it was expected. Do you know what I told my husband too the other day? Because we were talking about like that no one get their fucking panties in a wad. Possibly in the future, long down the road, maybe having more kids. And
she was talking to me when she said no one get their panties in a wad.
Yeah. But do you know what I said? I said, I don't know if I would ever even announce it after the baby was born. I don't know if I
100%.
would ever say, like,
Yep.
I mean, you'd be able to tell my face because I do get a little bit chunky when I'm pregnant.
You're so cute.
But I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, why do I need to?
Yeah.
Why do I need to try to monetize off, that pregnancy or the divorce or whatever? But that's the mindset in this world.
Yes.
And it's so twisted.
It is so twisted. And I just think that I've definitely learned a very good lesson in the fact that some things can genuinely be private. It does not need to all be put on social media.
100%.
But it was not a business. Now people look at social media as a business. And I did not look at social media as a business for a very long time. I genuinely looked at it as a relationship, as a family, which is why I fell into such a toxic hole with my lipsticks. Because I felt like I was hurting people who loved me and disappointing. And now I look back at it and I'm like, Jaclyn, you launched some lipsticks where 2% of them were defective. That sucks, but shit happens. Pull yourself up and keep going.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I was like, oh, I've hurt my friends online. Like, it was like so much deeper.
Yeah.
It wasn't a business to me, which I also think is one of the things that made me so successful, is it wasn't a business to me.
Yeah.
It was a genuine, always a relationship. And that's something I'm still working on right now.
For sure.
Is working through the battle of people knowing the Jaclyn Hill online. My therapist refers to it as Jaclyn and Jaclyn Hill, and they're two different people.
Oh.
She's like, they know she's like, people talk shit about you online. They only talk shit about what you choose to let them talk shit about, because that's
Totally.
Jaclyn Hill.
Totally.
And you're posting that version of you.
Yeah.
But they don't know you.
Yeah.
And you got to protect you.
Totally.
So it's like, that's why if Jordan and I ever went through hard times, I'm like, that's not your business.
No, not at all. Okay, speaking of Jordan, I want to hear about the wedding because it was so beautiful.
Thank you.
I wish you guys could see, but in their foyer, Jesus, I don't know how to say that.
How do you know how to say it?
In their
Foyer?
grand entryway, there's like the most gorgeous, huge wedding photo. And it's just, I just remember, God, I'm going through puberty. Jesus. I remember, like, could we have been friends like 5 years ago so I could have attended that wedding? God damn, let's go back.
I know.
But I remember.
I would have totally invited you too.
I remember, like, genuinely when you guys, had first announced this relationship, and I was like, wow, she seems so genuinely happy. And all this crazy shit happened in the span of like 2 years that were just nuts. And it was just so, like, such a, I don't know, it just seemed so magical. And it was so deserving. And the wedding was absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Like, you were just criticizing the fuck out of yourself in that photo, and I wanted to slap you in the face.
I was like, I should have taken Ozempic.
No, shut the fuck up. But it
Like,
was
why
just,
did I lose the weight pre-wedding? People say that to me online. Like, people genuinely ask me.
people.
They're just like, don't you wish you lost the weight before your wedding? I'm like, yeah, I do.
You're like, yeah, thanks for reminding me, you fucking bitch. No, I just think it was like down to your dress, your veil, the hair, like it was so
Thank you.
classic. Almost
Thank
like
you.
cathedral classic, which
That's what we wanted. We wanted it
love.
to be so small. We only had 42 people, Jordan,
Wow.
at our wedding.
Amazing.
It was teeny, teeny, tiny.
Yeah.
And we had it out in California where the weather was beautiful. And we just wanted it to be so small and so quaint and just private. And it was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. It was such a good day. I wish I could go back and change so many things, as I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
Like, so many things. I'm already looking forward to a vow renewal.
Yeah, it's like where I'm at. I'm like, well, I never did it the first time, so technically whatever, it doesn't
Courthouse
count.
girl.
Yeah,
You'll have your moment.
I was poor, but
Yeah, who
my
cares?
dress
It's
was
so sweet.
was $11.99 from Ross Dress for Less, and I had a hole in the left like seam, and so I kept my arm down so no one could see it.
Okay, but that's so sweet.
It's not crazy.
And the fact that you guys are still together and you have that story, I think that's really, really special. I love that.
Thanks. So wait, can I hear the proposal story?
Oh my God, it was the sweetest thing in the entire world. Yes, I'm going to tell them.
'Kay.
Okay, so I had told Jordan since the week we started dating that I thought that Christmas time proposals were so corny. I hated them. I'm like, oh gosh, whenever people get engaged like on Christmas or Christmas Eve, like holiday proposals are so corny.
Yeah,
let
like the ring on
holidays
the
be the
tree.
holidays.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
the holidays be the holidays.
Yeah.
So because of that, I did not expect a holiday time proposal. But he was like, hey, this is the only time that she's not going to expect a holiday proposal. So this is what I'm going to propose because I know everything. I am the person that you cannot surprise me.
Yeah, for
I have
sure.
an inkling. Something tiny can happen. I'm like, something's up. Like, I know. To the point that the night before he proposed, I was like, are you planning on proposing soon? He was in the shower. I walked into the bathroom and I was like, are you proposing soon? And he was like, what? Totally caught him off guard. I was like, I don't know why. I just like had a massage earlier and my massage therapist was talking about how she has a feeling you're going to propose. And now I have a feeling you're going to propose. Are you planning? You're not proposing tomorrow, are you? because he'd like arrange a really cute date night. And he was like, no, I would never do that. I know how much you hate holiday proposals. I'm not proposing to you soon. I was like, just making sure.
Oh.
What a psychopath. Imagine being Jordan. He's butt naked.
I'm dead. He's like,
showering.
can I finish washing my body?
Literally the most vulnerable thing. And I'm just like, are you
He's
proposing?
shaking his head behind the camera. I'm dead.
Poor Jordan. Imagine. So yeah, he proposed the next day. He told me he created this whole thing. He told me that this new restaurant that was opening up asked us to come do a preview taste test, and it was like dinner for two, and I was so excited. And like it was such a thought out lie too. I was like, you're pretty good at this. So
You're like, what else have you lied about? We're so psycho.
I was like, you're really good at this.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we ran outside to jump in the car, and he had our golf cart. We owned a golf cart, and we had one sitting on the driveway. And he's like, oh no, we're actually gonna jump in the golf cart real quick. And I was like, why? We need to get in a car. We're gonna be late for our reservation. He's like, no, trust me. The manager knows that we're not gonna be there at 7:30. We're getting there closer to 8. And I was like, okay. I had no idea he was proposing until this man was on his knee, because I was so convinced that he would never do a holiday proposal. And he took our golf cart to a park where we used to live, where we had one of our first dates.
Cute.
And we shared a really, really special moment there when we first met. And so he took me back to that place, and he walked me out like behind the trees, and there was 5 different easels set up with photos of us on it, covered in sheets. And he took a sheet off each one and like walked me through the time period of the 5 years that we had been together.
Good job. That's iconic. Because I love that it's like a timeline of love.
Yeah,
that's really
what
sweet.
he set up. Yeah. And then at the end of it, the last photo was a picture of me, because I caught the bouquet at our friend's wedding a few years. And that was the last photo of me holding the bouquet.
Cute. It's like your turn.
Yep.
That's
And then
your
he
turn.
made a very, very beautiful speech, and then got down on his knee.
Cute.
And then he drove us back. I'm sobbing. I ruined my makeup. And I'm like, wait, are we actually going to have this dinner? And he's like, no, baby, that whole thing was a lie.
Oh.
I was like, thank God. Because I was just caught. My makeup was just ruined.
Oh my God,
And then he
that's so
drove me
funny.
back to our house. And that's where both of our families were waiting on the driveway.
Oh my God.
And they're like, congratulations. And they had lasagnas and pot roast and the whole thing. And we just ate and drank and celebrated our engagement that night.
Oh my God, that's so special.
It was so much
See,
fun.
I think that's the other thing too with social media is you really cherish those intimate moments
Oh,
where you
yeah.
don't need 300 people at your wedding. You don't need all those people
100%.
to
The more
do
private,
a
the better.
100%. Okay, so to wrap it up, future plans, maybe like, I don't know, starting a family or really?
100%. Yes.
'Kay.
That's been a big thing since day one.
I'll be here to help with newborn
Okay.
things. Yeah, you
Oh
can
my
FaceTime me
God.
anytime.
I can't wait. I'm so.
my God.
It's just perfect how it's working out, because we've always wanted kids. Jordan's always wanted to be a dad. I did not always want children, but when I met Jordan, I wanted children like immediately. Like the second we started falling in love, I'm like, I want to have a family. Me too.
It takes
Okay,
that
great.
right person.
Immediately.
For sure.
So we've talked about it for years, and it's kind of perfect how everything has been happening. And now we're like in this era where it just kind of feels like it's so the next right thing. Mm-hmm. So we don't have a timeline. We don't have anything forced, but hopefully we will be seeing babies very soon.
Yay. And
can't wait.
I didn't even talk about this yet, but why the move from Florida to California?
More than anything, to like make it short and to the point, I think we just both needed a fresh start.
Yeah.
We just needed like a fresh chapter, a new book, a new
Yeah.
page. And we love it out here so much. We love the weather. There's so much opportunity.
It's very convenient for our industry.
so convenient.
Yes.
And then he's got friends out here. My 2 best friends live out here,
Mm-hmm.
who I get to see all the time now. It's literally like being a kid at Disneyland.
fun.
Like going from having like a long distance relationship, like my friend Linda and PK, they're both within 45 minutes of me. And it's like I've been long distance with both of them as friends for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like now living right next to them, it's like we're
So
just
fun.
like kids
Yeah.
every
Well,
day. It's so much fun.
And now I'm like, I can just imagine like the echoes of little laughter and
God.
feet running in here. Like it's just such a great house to raise a family. The yard is gorgeous. This weather also is the best for a family
Dude, the
too.
weather.
Yeah, because your kids will be out in the pool all day.
Yeah, it's 80% of the charm of California is the weather.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's perfect out here all the time. My mom's like, I'm dying. It's 98 degrees. It's so sticky.
But
I
the
can't walk.
humidity is the difference.
I'm like, oh,
in
sorry,
there.
it's 75 here.
You're like, oh, sorry, I'm in sweats.
I know. It's perfect.
Well, I love you so much.
I
Thank
love
you for
you.
being here. I'm like really I don't want to be like a weird fangirl, but it's an honor having you on the podcast.
It's my pleasure to be here. I'm seriously so excited. It's so awesome to watch you and other girls like yourself have this come up on TikTok, on social media, but on a different platform in a different way, and then be able to have community with you. It's so cool. It's so special. And I'm just so grateful that I'm still here, like 12, almost 13 years in. And the fact that
You're still that girl, bitch.
oh my God, you're so sweet.
No, you're still that girl for sure.
It's crazy. I inspired you and now you inspire me. And that's girlhood.
No, and that's on being a girl's girl though. And we need
100%.
more of that in this industry for sure.
100%.
Yeah. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
I adore you.
Look at how musty my glass
I
is
know.
from
We
the
haven't drank
ice.
one sip. I'm dead. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.